What's good, guys? Prince Sports here, coming at you with another one. Raw, uncut sports stimulus package. Now, check this out. You got a lot of brainwashing tools in the NBA today, right? One of them is the NBA politics, okay? For all the complaining that you guys do about YouTubers, you know, oh, they're biased, they're this, they're that. But guess what? You trust those people at Fox Sports and ESPN more when there's millions of dollars at stake, when some of them work for some of these sports stars that have public, general public relations teams. Um, you trust that? You trust guys that probably got players putting money in their pockets? You trust guys that have personal relationships with athletes to the fact that they're friends and they're not going to talk bad about that player, but therefore they got the nerve to go on national TV and tell you that, hey, I'm unbiased, I'm completely objective. That's bullshit. You ever seen a analyst starts like Stephen A. Smith starts off his rant or critique like LeBron James, first of all, great father, great NBA player, one of the top players of all time. Then he goes to criticizing LeBron James. Now, why would he say those things at the beginning? It's because he wants to still establish a good relationship with LeBron James so he can still be on his good side and critique him and get away with critiquing him at the same time and not be labeled as a hater. That's why, because there's money at stake. So you're mad at YouTubers and you call us biased when there's some YouTubers that flat out tell you to your face, I don't like this player. That's something that somebody on national TV would never tell you. So you get more knowledge, you get more objectivity, and you get more stuff put into context with people that are actually on YouTube than so-called sports analysts. That's one thing. The second thing is stats. Another big misleading quote. Okay, you got advanced stat metrics, which I've been on all season long, showing you and exposing the flaws of those, versus traditional stats. Traditional stats are the stats that actually matter. Okay? They're the stats that actually really have an effect on games. Advanced stat metrics is just add-ons to traditional stats. And those particularly don't do much, but serve empty numbers and just a way to prompt up a player that don't deserve to be prompted up in the first place. And that leads us to the one and only star boosting players. Now, this is becoming real problematic. You got superstars, guys labeled as superstars that's really all-stars. Guys labeled as all-stars that's really role players. And the reason to that, I remember Chi-Town saying, is there any criteria to MVP now? It's because a lot of stuff getting thrown out the window. You could lose everything loosely now. Everybody's labeled as anything now, and that's the problem. Won't you just go back to the way things was so you can actually put some context on things instead of just calling everybody everything in the book when they really not? Guys like Andrew Wiggins, Ben Simmons, Draymond Green, good solid players, but in all actuality, they are role players. You know, guys like the Joker. You label him as a superstar. Well, if you label a guy as a top 5 player in the league, he should be classified as a superstar. He shouldn't really be an all-star. That's the problem. But the Joker really isn't a top 5 player in the league. That's misleading. And he isn't a real superstar. Now, you may say, oh, the numbers say different. Okay, but that's no different from a guy going on YouTube and sitting next to a Lambo or sitting next to a Corvette or talking or getting an autograph from a rich person or wearing fake jewelry. They presenting an image to you that necessarily doesn't mean that they're rich or that they have a lot of money, but they put on the idea that they do. For all you know, that car could be rented. That jewelry could be fake. They could have fake money that they be flaunting on YouTube. There's so many people that do this. They brainwash you to make you think that they got a lot of money when they really broke. Well, that's the same thing with stats, okay? They fill up the stat sheet because the system is easy to manipulate. That doesn't mean that they're the greatest at whatever the hell they're doing, okay? If a guy gets scoring off layups and dunks, does that mean he's a great all-time scorer? No. Does that mean he has a great scoring skill set? No. because he's lacking in other categories that scores. All right. But his field goal percentage or, his usage rate and all this other bullshit, advanced stat metrics, don't mean he's a great scorer. Okay? Stuff has to be put in context. You have to actually watch these games to look at it. Bistro was one of the dudes that exposed somebody like Andre Drummond. Guy had like 18 points in years past, 18 points and 18 rebounds. He just was manipulating the system. And Bistro was like, hey, this guy's really not as great as you say he is. It's just the fact that he was getting his rebounds this way, getting his rebounds that way. And that's the reason why his numbers was being inflated. That doesn't mean he's really a great rebounder. That doesn't really mean he's an all-star or a great scorer. He's another guy that was masquerading as an all-star when he was a role player. So props to Bistro for discovering that. But how would he know something like that unless he's watching the games and he's paying attention? Simple. You got to watch these games and pay attention. Klay Thompson is another one. He's in the same category as DeMarcus Cousins. They're both struggling to get where they need to get back so they could call themselves the players that they used to be. All right? Now, only difference is Klay Thompson is getting more exposure. He's getting more burn, more playing time than DeMarcus Cousins ever got. So he has an opportunity to prove himself more than DeMarcus Cousins. But even him, Klay Thompson, is still not the Klay Thompson of old. He get a lot of his points off what? Spot up threes, fast break, wide open threes, ball movement threes. Okay, but his ability to attack the basket ain't as good as it used to be. His ability to defend, he used to be a good two-way defender, especially on two guards. Not that good no more. So it is what it is, But you have to put stuff into context. This is what I'm saying. His numbers may look like, hey, he's an all-star. Jordan Poole numbers look like he's an all-star, like he's been an all-star for countless seasons. You wouldn't know that this is his first playoff series, right? Okay, so you have to take things into context, okay? He putting up good numbers, but can he do that against good teams? Jordan Poole, that is. All right? Competition matters. Everything has to be put into context, man. Stop being brainwashed to thinking that a guy is as good as you think he is just because the numbers on paper show that he's good. All right? They're misleading, just like some YouTubers front and pretend to be Big Willie when they not. Why you think there's some YouTubers that want to be friends with ex-NBA players or ex-athletes? Why? It's because they could boost up their platform for clout. They're never going to judge that player that they have a relationship with now on social media because that's their bread and butter. They got somebody that they could talk to. So don't be taken in by a lot of this fake stuff. Just keep it 100. And please rate the games with logic and criteria that you actually see inside of the game. All right? Prince Sports out. Peace.